So it's that time again, that time to move things around. These are our little turkeys that I introduced to you way back when. And look how they're growing. And there's my hand on them. They're growing quite large. They've outgrown their brooder space. So I've moved the chickens out of here. The turkeys are coming in. Got nest boxes, a little snuggie hole. They got their water, their food, and a perch for the first time. As you can see, they're quite baffled. I literally just plopped them in here and started the camera rolling. But I think they're going to like it here quite a bit. They've been really, really bored in their brooder. And to pass the time, what they did was just kick their food out and waste it, all in their poop. So I was getting tired of losing food. So yeah, these guys have lots of fun things to do out here after, I don't know, 2, maybe 3 days. I will let them loose into the fenced-in run area. But until then, they get to get used to this. Hi, Gibble. What do you think of this, Gibble? Gobble, you're looking too. Oh my. Did I surprise you? You'll see here, they've got some feather stumps. I did clip one wing on each bird, just so that they're not going to be flying yet. They have to learn to be outside, and they have to learn to stick around, and that this is their home. So yeah, we don't need anyone taking off. But yeah, I think I'll close them up and let them explore their new area. Now they're closed in, they're peeking out the window at me. They got lots of fresh airflow in there, and yet lots of shelter still from the weather. As winter comes on, I have a big sheet of plexiglass that covers that. But yeah, look at them looking outside and exploring the world. But they'll have this area. That rooster still wants back in here. I don't know why. All his ladies are moved over there. I'm gonna, as soon as possible, move all the birds over here. I want, for winter, I want all the birds up by the house where it's safer, less predators. But yeah, today's job was moving the turkeys. Now I'll go move the chicks. Well, these guys are wondering what in the world I'm doing. It's this. Moved all the younger chickies in here. You definitely can see the size difference between the older and the younger group. But I hope everything will go well. I think the parent geese will adopt them. Oh, they're getting loud. They want to check out what's going on. There they are. See, they're coming closer. They're saying, let us see what's happening. These guys are doing good. They're actually starting, you can see all the feathers everywhere. They're starting to molt into their adult feathers. So out of their juvenile into their adult. This first set of adult feathers will also be breeding feathers, so all the boys will have their pretty hoods, their curly tail feathers, and so on. They're growing quite well. And I made a pretty big decision recently. I decided I'm going to sell out of white Chinese and get out of them, as well as the buffs. And oh, I don't see them here, they're all hiding. But the Ancona and the Muscovy, they are going to go as well. I just need to downsize the number of breeds that I have because I just don't have enough individual breeding pens to separate them all out in the spring. And I don't want to be hatching out eggs at the end of August again next year. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to sell out of 2 breeds of geese, 2 breeds of duck, and We'll have a little less variety around here, but I think it's going to work just fine. Now these guys here, earlier I had some dying off, and I believe it's this one still not feeling well. You can see he's kind of panting there. Took a long time and trial and error, but I got autopsy done on a duck and samples and everything, and it turns out that the black flies up here gave these guys duck malaria. So it's just a parasite that gets into the blood and makes it so that the red blood cells aren't there or aren't working, so they get anemic, and we had some deaths. And the vet thinks that there's a high likelihood that that's partially what happened last year. She did say that in a couple more years, the strong ones that can resist it will survive. Everything that's weak against it will die off, so we'll get flock immunity that way. But otherwise, there's no treatment, and the only prevention is trying to keep down the numbers on the black flies, which is really hard. Yeah, we're up north. Black flies is a thing. But this group was absolutely fine. They didn't have any issues. And we think the reason is these guys were born and introduced outside after black fly season. So they wouldn't have gotten bit. But now we know, and it's not a mystery anymore. So we'll see what we can do about that for next year. So far, all the older chickens, it looks like, or most of them have come out. The younger chicks are still in there. But that's good. I want them to stay in there a couple days. They got to learn where home is now. Alright, so I think that's it. As far as symptoms for the duck malaria, in case you're interested, they were getting like short of breath and would pant heavily with like no activity whatsoever. And if you were active in there, like trying to catch a duck or two, you might have some just keel over and die from lack of red blood cells. But yeah, like we really wouldn't see anyone noticeably ill, and then there'd be a dead duck. So they were just dropping like flies, and that's how it went. Only ducks. The geese, we haven't lost any geese. They seem to be doing all right. But yeah, if you want to know more about it, let me know in the comments, or if there's anything in particular you want to see in videos or questions you have, let me know and I will try to answer them.